My second favorite villain is the one that is probably most, I think, disputed by other people. And I'm assuming you know something about the famous Dr. Snook.
Yes, I've heard of him, yes.
I think he enjoys a rapid popularity every now and then. Every generation discovers him. And that is the veterinary professor at Ohio State who lives on West 10th Avenue with his wife and his little girl, and is a member of King Avenue Church, and he's upstanding, and he invents the Snook hook, which looks like a big knitting needle almond way, to perform vasectomies on small animals. And he's seen as a very bookish man, and he is lured into sort of the love nest of Theora Hix. He passes himself off as kind of like a traveling salesman. She's the younger wife. He's in his 40s, she's in her 20s. And she had been a graduate student who had done some work for him. And he murders her over by the quarries, and the body is discovered, and the trail gets back to the love nest pretty quickly.
The doctor basically used a ball-peen hammer, and then when that wasn't sufficient to the end, he ended up using a knife to finish the job.
Wow.
And he had left a wide variety of evidence, as Doreen says, back at that apartment, so it wasn't very hard for local law enforcement to figure out what exactly was happening. And it was one of the more spectacular trials in Columbus history that was followed very closely, day by day, with large amounts of the court transcript reprinted in the newspaper. So the case basically sort of grabbed not only local but national attention at the time. And the doctor was convicted and sent to the Ohio Penitentiary, where he was ultimately executed for the murder of Theora Hix.
But what was interesting was started coming out about her and how the papers portrayed her. She's the only child of this very sainted-looking couple who truly were bewildered by everything. So she becomes the victim. She is the young girl lured in by the older man. They also can't explain some little things that start to come out in testimony, like she worked fairly menial jobs around the university to help support herself, and her parents did send her money. But suddenly she has well over $1,000 in a bank account, and it's not really known how she gets this. Her roommates are suspicious of her activity. A former boyfriend, for the most part, is also part of this in the sense that she had tried a lot of other things with him. So she's the one who is suggesting that they try various drugs for a sexual enhancement. Now the story reverses. And because he is the murderer, one would assume he is the villain. Of course, he took this young girl's life. On the other hand, there is nothing about her that suggests that she was naive, innocent, or anything but perhaps very calculated. In other words, this was something she had done up until now in other situations to get what she wanted.
I've learned so much. And I've also learned to stay on the straight and narrow.